Good evening, good evening. Welcome to Scarf Chronicles. Michele with one L. Here with the leak. But today we will be talking about domestic violence awareness. October is Domestic Violence Awareness. Purple, the beautiful. She is our lovely guest today, Miss Lisa Gross. Hello, Lisa. How are you? And I can speak on behalf of myself and Miss that we are very grateful to have you here today. This is our first go round, and this is a special lady I've been knowing for years. Yeah. So she has her journey in her calling for domestic violence awareness. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am a survivor myself,
Okay.
and I went through not only the domestic violence but attempted murder and things like that. And I just want to add to it. Some people think that there's no relation, but um, I am also a survivor of sexual assault as well. So it does have some effect on it, you know. Yeah. So
Okay, and real quick, which I should have done first, we are issuing a trigger warning because there
mm,
are many people that go through this and is no fun, is not cool, coming from male or female, doing this to other people or any form of abuse. And then speaking of that, how prevalent is domestic violence?
well, an average of 32 people per minute are victims of rape, physical violence, or stalking by an intimate partner, and in the United States, and then more than 16 million women and men over the course of a single year. That's what that equals to. So, and it's
That's a lot of people. I know you feel funny about that, but it's not making light, but damn,
no, it'll make me laugh.
that's a lot of people. Yeah. So
Yeah, and so the thing that we have to look at is this intimate partner violence is very common. 41% of women and 26% of men experience contact sexual violence, physical violence, or stalking. And over 61 million women and 53 million men have experienced psychological aggression by an intimate partner in their lifetime. And so this is something um, that we have to, even when we looking at it, it's not uh, every man, because every man will not report it because there's some embarrassment to that.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
and I definitely would have to agree with that. I wouldn't be surprised if the men were also around 41%, if not more, because especially in Western culture here, it is men being made fun of for being called punks or something or soft or whatever to that
mm-hmm.
effect. That oh, it ain't that bad, get over it or whatever. Even when you call the police and you have women pulling knives and guns on these gentlemen, and they're trying not to harm the women to protect themselves, but when they call
Right,
the police are making fun of them. So
exactly.
absolutely not cool, not cool at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So that's glad to
and
note
and
that.
that's something that they've been doing, is trying to get the police to have special training, because um, it was times they wouldn't even take the women seriously, and in line with that,
Like a
um,
sensitivity kind of training,
well, they being trauma informed, you
or
know,
okay,
and knowing how to approach it and what to say and what not to say, because um, the victims were being re-victimized and things like that.
yeah,
So
that's yeah,
and it's hard enough to go through it from your abuser, and then the person that's supposed to be helping you, re-victimizing you. That's not cool,
yeah.
and so that is the training that they're giving them now. And I want to say, like down at Sojourner, they have part of Fifth District in there. They have a district attorney in there. They have liaison offices in there for MPS
Okay.
and Boys and
Milwaukee
Girls
Public School
Club,
guys.
yes, and things of that nature. So all of these different community things, they have their offices inside of Sojourner,
Okay.
so that they have a liaison between, say, for instance, the Milwaukee Public Schools and Sojourner,
Okay.
and these people are dual trained because they know how to deal with, you know you know do the transition of the children reporting it at MPS, and then following through at Sojourner.
That's excellent. So
Yeah.
they have a safe place to go and don't have to worry about somebody snitching, ratting them out or whatever, especially when you have peer pressure from your classmates and at an immature age of going through mature
Yes.
abuse. It's unfortunate.
Hey,
We're welcome the
T.
lovely Miss T over here. Say hey. So, like I said, she finally made it. And I wanted to also say, I know you hear the word trigger. Um, Lisa is the reason I understood what a trigger was. I mean, I've experienced DV myself at a couple different points in my life. And I did not know until I met this lady that a smell, a song, you it could be any color, like say red.
Might have been
And
something on the TV, a TV show
yep,
that was playing at that time.
and those moments of seeing or experiencing that come back to you when you experience your trauma. So that's very important to notate within yourself too when you please seek help for that.
Yeah.
Um, there are red flags, and that's one thing
Now,
we need to go
before
ahead.
we get to the red flags, though, let me
Go
just
ahead.
mention this because it's very important.
Okay.
Um, just want to let people know that until the 1970s, not only was it legal, but socially acceptable for a husband to beat his wife. So the wife had no recourse. It was nothing she could do. She had to just suffer through it. And the police were like, we can't get involved in that. And then yeah, and so they had no help. And then the other thing is that it wasn't until 1994 that they had this, what it was called VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, and it was the first comprehensive federal legislative package designed to end violence against women. Okay, so now it took that long, all the way to 1994,
That was just 30 years ago.
and then you would think, okay, good, we got that in place. It's a good thing, but VAWA must be continually reauthorized by the government. So you got a law that doesn't remain a law unless you reauthorize it. So they um, we're really fighting and fighting and fighting to get laws in place. And sad to say, they got more laws to protect animals than they do to
Us,
protect domestic
women.
violence
Yeah.
women, domestic violence victims. And I'm saying that because I want to include male victims as well. So, and y'all catch me when I say women.
If that's not reauthorized, then what?
Then it's gone. It's gone.
That means they
It's
can
no
go back.
longer, yeah, it's no longer
Go back to our elders' day where our grandmothers, of those who had that situation, our grandmothers uh, are abused. You try to run away and escape. We didn't have rights,
right.
and you had to depend on your husband for everything. And you run back to your family for a safe haven, and they send you right back because that is what it is.
Right.
Maybe you should do such and such, and don't make him mad. He won't put hands on
Was he a
you.
good man?
Yeah, and that's just it.
Mm.
That word socially acceptable.
Yep.
It was so socially acceptable that a mother would send her daughter back to the abuser and say, "That's your husband. You don't leave your husband and your, you know." And it's like,
That's
this
terrible.
man is beating me, mama. But
Well, don't make them mad.
yeah, yeah, and they felt too that if a man was taking care of you financially, that like you said, you got a man that provide for you, and that and that don't matter. If somebody is beating you, you shouldn't be forced to stay there. And so I'm glad that we've come as far as we have, but we still got a long way to go. It's a constant thing that constantly goes on, and you know, it's not fully understood. Like a lot of people be like, oh, why don't you leave him? And it's because he threatening to kill her and kill the kids and
And
kill, you
yeah,
know. And so, and you guys may hear me say her, but know that him or her,
it goes both ways.
right. It could be, it is male victims.
I have a question for you. I mean, this just makes absolutely no sense. I know what you're saying, but it just makes me want to just snap. But how often does that law have to be renewed?
Well, I'm the way that I've been taught is that it's every year. So it's an annual thing, and I can. Oops, I'm sorry for hitting that table.
That's
I'll
okay.
have to double check with that, but my understanding is that it's annually.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So.
So we have to get out here and advocate. Everybody has a loved one out there that they want to be safe. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter male, female. It doesn't matter. Um, as far as me being a mother and grandmother, I'm mama bear when it comes to the safety of my loved ones, my babies. That includes my nieces, nephews, my besties, all that. I'm like, no,
Mhm.
we got to do better. And it's not just us trying to advocate for it, but we have to some kind of way push further to get make there be more penalty and more accountability for people doing this to others,
Yeah.
abusing others. There's no excuses. None.
Yeah. And but one thing I just really commend, and I'm so happy that Sojourner does. They have a team of advocates, and so first of all, you don't have to leave out the shelter to start your domestic violence stuff because they have the district attorney in there. But then when she does have to go to court, they have advocates there from Sojourner that can be there and give her the emotional support that she needs,
That's good
you
to
know.
know.
And so she's not there alone because, of course, they're afraid of this man. So, and that's something that I'm just so happy that they do, you know.
And that
Yeah.
also goes for same sex partners too, men and men or women and women. They yeah, there are abusers in every form and fashion out there, and it's terribly unfortunate. And again, and if you see something, say something. I know there's a way, as you stated before, how you can approach a situation. I've had a situation where years ago I'm on the bus stop and I'm seeing a man beat the hell out of this woman, and I snapped on him. I cussed him out. Now Miss T can tell you, maybe I ain't wrapped a little too tight, but I don't care. I'm gonna say something. That's just how I'm wired. But everybody is not me, and I had to understand that as well. But I mean, and that goes again with the police being better trained to
Yeah.
handle this and to actually come in a more emergent fashion,
Mm-hmm.
because you could
Yeah.
say somebody's getting harmed or something like that,
Yeah.
and they won't take it seriously enough, and we won't know about it until it's too late. And we've heard the gruesome stories on the news, and then the babies being witnesses to it. And that also, if you would like to elaborate on that too,
Yeah.
with children being surviving
Well,
witnesses to things like that,
well,
and the ramifications.
they're now considered witnesses to the domestic violence, and they something else wonderful Sojourner does. they are specially trained to interview the children in a way that that they try not to make it real traumatic for them, and it's a sensitivity thing, and being able to information from them, and they even have uh the counseling, the children's hospital counseling in Sojourner and stuff like
That's
that.
excellent.
So
Say it
yeah,
again.
I said support groups for the kids, where it's just
they got
That's
one-on-one
good.
counseling as well. Yeah.
That's
So
good to know.
and what I think is just so um just so sad is that out here and they witness so much violence, not just in the home, but even outside the home and things like that. And a lot of children have PTSD and they're not getting any counseling. And if you look at the symptoms of PTSD and ADHD, they mirror each other. But with
That's
PTSD, you have nightmares and flashbacks, and they have anger problems. And I believe that that's what we're seeing out here. And nobody thinks this child witnessed the murder, or this child witnessed somebody being jumped on, or or their parents being beaten, and
or
never.
them being victimized
Right,
directly too.
that too, yeah, because sometimes they don't just stop at abusing the adult, they want to abuse the children as well. And I wanted to also say too that these men are so sick that they when you try to leave them, they want to kill the kids first or kill somebody you love first, because they want you to hurt, and it's um they get some kind of pleasure out of seeing that victim hurt. And then it's like, now I'll kill you, and sometimes they kill themselves, and or whatever. But it's it's just sad, and for a man to be able to take his own children's lives, that's something that I mean. And I think about I want to just tell a story real quick. It was a social worker bringing children to um, for visitation rights, and she was supposed to be present there with him while he visits with the children, but the children ran ahead of her, got to the house before her. The man let them in, locked the door, and the social worker is like calling the police and saying he's dangerous and he's this and he's that and da. And the police just blowing her off, not taking her serious. And that man set that house on fire and killed himself and the kids too.
That's a shame.
And she's calling and frantic, and no help. So it's not it's not it's like everybody needs to be trained on how to handle this, how to deal with this, and understand too that um I think it's 4 to 6 attempts before a woman literally gets away, like and not go back, like get away for good. And it's because of the manipulation and the gaslighting, all of those things gets her to come back, and it's so many threats, and he has such control and over her, that people need to understand it's not that easy to leave. It's just not. And if you just look at the statistics and things of the women that have died, and how they've died, and how many other people they killed at the same time, and it's really, really sad. And some people say that domestic violence is an epidemic, but domestic violence is a pandemic, because this is a worldwide problem.
Mhm.
And in some countries it's sort of like what it was here until the 70s. You know, there's no laws to protect those women.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad.
And a term you used, and if you could clarify for everybody out there, we hear it a lot, but we need like clarity. I mean, I know, but if you could explain what the term gaslighting actually is, and
Yeah.
maybe an example.
It's and I'm gonna tell you guys to look for the movie. It's actually it's two different versions, and the movie is from the 1940s.
That's okay.
Um, but it tells is just letting you know that this was real even back then.
Do you know the name of the movie?
Gaslight.
That's the actual name of the movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
where the term came from.
Okay, well,
Yes,
there
it
that
came.
is.
Oh, by the way, the term came from the movie. The movie came first.
Okay, and learn
Yes.
something new today. Okay.
So, this man is trying to make his wife think, you know, that she's crazy. Like, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. And she'll, you know, sit something somewhere or do something, and then he'll move it, or he'll, you know, like, and you know how you be in the house, be like, nah, no, I ain't crazy. I know I sought this here, or I know I, you know, I fixed this, or I did that, or and he'll undo whatever she, you know, just so that she'll start doubting herself. And once she starts doubting herself, it's like, oh,
He got to weigh in.
I have to be dependent on him because I'm a little crazy, you know, like and so now she's doubting herself, and that's what he needs. And then it's easier for him to manipulate her and control her. And that's why another term, isolating. I that isolating, and I got these here on my red flags too, and I want to get to them. But the isolation is to get all your family and friends, turn the victim against family and friends, so that you can isolate them, and then nobody's there to tell her, oh, he's doing this to you, or he's doing that to you, oh, that's not right. And you know, and then you thinking, but if nobody's around, then hey, guess what? He's got free reign to do everything, and the victim is left in a shroud of confusion, because pretty much what we're dealing with is narcissistic sociopaths. You guys got to look that up. They It's amazing, but these people have a personality disorder, and they don't take any responsibility for anything they do. They have no remorse, no remorse. And people telling women, you know, oh, he'll get better, or him telling you, oh, I'm gonna go get counseling. Believe me, you want to be gone, and it's a way to leave. You do not announce to him that you're leaving.
Absolutely not.
You know, the one thing you don't want is for him to know that you're leaving or where you're going, and you can't go anywhere where he knows that family member or that friend, where he can find you. It has to be somewhere where he can't find you. And so this is a challenge within itself, because usually you're dating somebody and you didn't introduce them to all these people, you know, not knowing what he's going to turn into. So now he knows where your family live, and he knows where your friends live. And some of these men, if they can't get to you, that, like I said, they'll try to harm your family and friends. They'll threaten her and told her that this is what they're going to do. You know, so and sometimes you got to have the whole family hiding from this man.
That's
You
unfortunate.
know, yeah, yeah.
Oh, and I meant to ask you, we kind of segued off real quick. Um, Kind of give us what your the beginning of your journey was that motivated you to actually start being an advocate
Well, my daughter lived in Hillside, and
in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, y'all.
yeah, and down on Six and Walnut, they were building this building, and 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 I found out, hey, you know, this is the the domestic violence building. You know, that's a, you know, And so then they're out there and they're asking for people to they're asking for people to come and volunteer.
Okay.
Come be volunteers, and we need help and all this. And so I I volunteered. I filled out my volunteer form. This was before Sojourner opened. They were still building it and stuff like that. And then that's where I got my training at Sojourner. Um, and I worked on the hotline, which was very triggering, to say the least. So I was not able to continue on the hotline. It was just far too much and too hard for me.
I can imagine.
But that's where I got my training, and that's where they trained me on, about a lot of things to do with domestic violence. But then I went on to just be an advocate, and I got my little product, so that right there. And one thing that I want to say too about that is I've been back to the shelter, and it was nice to see so many people volunteering, because when I was working back there, we might have 2 volunteers and 1 employee back there,
Mhm.
and we trying to keep up with the phone lines, the hotline, and then it was another phone that let us know that abuser was getting ready to be released, and
That has to be scary.
we're
for
like just scuffling to try to reach this young lady to let her know that he is getting ready to be released, and is she safe, and does she need to come in, and does he have a key to your house, and just
So for those women who or men who are abused and their abuser is sent to prison, so is that a law that they have to call the woman? I know they call it a shelter, or is that just for people who um have a restraining order?
well, that's just it. Some of these women uh haven't even had a chance to do any of that
Mm-hmm.
yet, and he's already back out,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and so it's just one of those things where I I I guess I wish we had more notice of when he was getting out,
Yeah.
but they said they weren't able, to do that because it goes by how everything is processed, and how things go, and once those things happen, then that's when they call us and let us know.
So if they never reach the victim, it's just oh well.
No, it wasn't for me. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I'm like, I was just scared for her. I was
Yeah.
scared for her.
But in some cases, that's the reality,
Yeah,
right?
it's
That
like,
if
oh
they can't
well.
reach that person,
Oh well.
what can you do?
Yeah,
They
You
can't
know?
keep them if they can't reach
yeah,
that person.
Yeah,
right,
that's unfortunate.
right. So, and I, you know, I, I, I did this event, Strength, Courage, and Wisdom, and and that is Indy Ari's title of her
Yeah.
song. But it was just the strength to endure things that you have to go through in leaving, and having the courage to leave.
Mhm.
And then wisdom uh, goes with knowing not only um, how to get out and stay away, but how to not get back into another relationship like that. And if you don't mind, I just want to read some of these red flags,
I was
because
just about to ask you.
this is some of the things um, that victims need to look out for, because you don't know that you're getting in this relationship, and that this is what's about to happen to you, and they're very calculating, and they are masters of disguise, like even when you're in the abusive relationship, they can be so sweet and kind and loving to you out in public. Oh, they can be so kind, and then as soon as y'all walk through the door,
Mhm.
you got a fist. Soon as the door closed behind you, and he telling you what all you did wrong out in public. That you you looked at that man, or the man looked at you, or why did you say that? And because they think you probably trying to let somebody know what he doing or something, like just any little thing. And you get home, and it's beating time, you know.
That's a shame.
And oh, it, if you guys get a chance, find this story about this victim. Her husband was a police officer, and they literally, she had the hardest time getting help. And then what was worse than that, they were not going to take his gun from him,
So,
you know. And like, this is when stuff, they finally got this stuff where it can go to court and stuff. And because he's a police officer,
yeah.
you know,
Bias.
yeah, of course.
That's
and
terrible.
and so, it's just, I mean, we could do a whole nother 5 shows of me telling y'all about these situations. But the first red flag is family history. If you know that the person you're dating, say like y'all sitting around talking, and he talking about how his dad used to beat his mom, or his mom used to beat his dad, you need to run, like run fast, and say, dude, I'm not interested. Then you got the jealousy. And oh, I just love you so much, and then, and they're trying to make you think that this jealousy is their way of talking about how much they love you. And in fact, it has nothing to do with love. It's actually possessiveness, okay? And it's a lack of trust. And it's not even like you caused the lack of trust, like because this relationship just started, and you're not even,
It's their
you
own
ain't cheated on them,
insecurities.
right? And here they are, jealous. And then controlling behavior. So um they try to say, oh no, I'm just trying to make sure you okay, and I just want to this, that, and other. And but really what it is, it's a lack of respect, because you have to, like, check in, do this, do that, who you with, where you going, why you was there so long, what all did you do when you were there. You got to explain everything. To this day, I still explain everything to everybody, and they're like, why are you explaining? And they don't know,
What you been through.
being in a domestic violence relationship, I had to explain everything, and I'm trying to get out of that. No is a sentence.
Say that again for the people in the back.
No, period. It's a sentence. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone, period. Like the kids say, period. And then quick involvement. Some people call it love bombing. What they do is they say, oh, I you know I wanted to buy you this, and I want to do this and take you there and do that and do that, and they doing too much too fast. Beware of women that in your family that say, he treat me like a queen, oh, he's spoiling me, and then no. Most men don't do all that. You know what I mean? They just don't. Now when you get an abuser, he's trying to make you fall in love fast. So what is he gonna do? He's gonna give you everything, buying you roses, buying you gifts, just and then you hear about somebody, look, now we know what we doing, and even though we only been dating for 5 months, we want to get married. And then you got to wonder, okay,
Why you want to get married so fast?
right, like what is the rush? Like really, people haven't really gotten to know each other
In
in
5 6 months.
yeah, so you really don't know what you're getting into. And I spoke about the isolation. So you want to cut them off from all resources, social supports, and they know that the more contact a victim has with others, the more empowered and supported that he or she will feel. So he's got to break off all ties and make her feel isolated, alone, and weak, and unempowered. Um, blames others for problems. So they never hold themselves accountable, like I said. And they I got punched in the face and see what you made me do,
Mm-mm.
you know, and it's like, how did I make you do that? Like, what did I do? Like, but you start off confused, but then it gets to be something you get used to, and it's a pattern, and you're apologizing, and you didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
But it's like, and to be honest, it's like you think if you apologize, they'll stop hitting you, But yeah, that don't
They'll
work.
use that as an excuse too. Like, I'm tired of you apologizing to me. You don't apologize to me. Just do what I
Yeah,
say.
everything you do is
Just
wrong,
an excuse to
and
harm
anything
you.
they do wrong, it's your fault that they did that wrong, and anything they mess up, it's your fault. Everything is your fault. It's never their fault. They never ever take responsibility for anything they do. And now hypersensitivity. Um, they have they typically have low self-esteem. So they are literally taking out on you all their insecurities,
Mm.
pretty much. And their confidence may be so fragile that even constructive criticism is seen as a threat. Not, like some people, they can't take constructive criticism, but they don't go all the way to the left on you. But with a narcissistic sociopath abuser, they go all the way to the left on you. They can't take it. But you better believe they give you a lot of criticism and a lot of belittling you and putting you down. Um, and after a while, the woman starts to believe the things that he's saying. So, yeah. Now, cruelty to animals or children. That's why they're starting to try to do something where they have shelters for even the dogs and the cats. And it was a young lady I was helping, and her husband literally killed the kitten in front of her, and
That's
told her
terrible.
out, and you will be next if you try to leave, you know. So it's it's not um it's not safe for the victim, the children, the animals. They just,
Yeah.
nothing is beyond them, for them to hurt someone.
So you said they got shelters where the victim can
For the
go
animals,
and
yeah.
bring their animal with them, or just the animals.
The animals,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
just
I don't know if
okay.
any. That's a good thing. I need to look up and see, are there any shelters for women that allow animals
Oh,
there?
yeah.
But I know they have shelters so that they're not losing their animal.
Yeah.
They still have their pet, and the pet is put in a shelter for safety, away from the abuser. Yeah.
And speaking of that, as far as resources go, and just by us speaking on this today, if you notate a friend, family member, and their situations where you're starting to see some of these points here, please say something and try to divert them right away. But the Sojourner House, which this is in Milwaukee, so it's
Family
very
Peace Center.
Family Peace Sojourner Family Peace Center, 619 West State Street. So if you
No,
don't have
Walnut.
a phone, or excuse me, West Walnut, forgive me, but if you don't have a phone, but you heard that address, 619 West Walnut, please do not hesitate to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
They will assist you, and this is nationwide in the United States. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 24/7. Please notate that. 1-800-799-7233. Again, 1-800-799-7233. Also, if you can't talk and you can text, please text the word begin to 88788. The word begin, 88788. And the beautiful Miss Lisa provided this. For Sojourner, again in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, call Sojourner 24-hour hotline 414 933 2722. And for
Repeat
general
it.
414 933 2722. Now, if you have general inquiries, like say, I'm concerned about my friend or family member or something, and I need advice on how should I approach this or anything of that nature, 414 Again, 414-276-1911.
I always remember that number by it ends in 911. That's how.
That is for help. 911.
So when you hear that phone number, if you can just remember the first numbers and the last part is 1911, but it's 1911. So if you can remember the 276, then that can help you out.
And they also have a web address, www.familypeacecenter, PEACE, center.org. www.familypeacecenter.org. Um, I can't implore strongly enough to, if you notate anything, it's better to be safe than sorry. um, you might think, especially for the young people, and you worry about what other people think of you in school. You might think so and so is cute or whatever, but you saw him mistreat other people. That's another thing too. You see people mistreating other people, they'll mistreat you.
Yeah.
If you see those red flags, that's just a small portion of the red flags. But when those spidey senses get to tingling, you know something ain't right. You pay attention to that and run for the hills. So
Let me
go ahead.
while you're talking about students. So also I want to let you guys know October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, but February is Teen Dating Violence Month, and that's an orange ribbon. And it's 16 million women and 11 million men have experienced it before age 18. So um, these children see this in the home, and when they start dating, they bring it into the relationships that they have. And so there are teenagers out there that are experiencing domestic violence. You know, I you know, I just direct a lot of people to Sojourner. That's the main thing I do is direct people to Sojourner. But the part that's hard is that when you are directing people, you have to understand that they may not go right away. So like if it's somebody I know, I keep checking back on them to see if they have contacted Sojourner yet, and have you gotten in there, and have you done this, have you done that. And with somebody I don't know, I give them one of those rip-offs, and so that they can get the help that they need. I just these are just sheets, and you just rip it off and give it to them, so that they can have the information and be able to call when they're ready. So, and that's very important. But I wanted to mention just a few more of these red flags, if y'all don't mind. I mentioned the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, because but this is another point. They can be so calm, and you can be sitting there and you watching TV, and you think you safe, right? And next thing you know, you done got slapped in the face, and it's like you just sitting there watching TV. So the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde is one, putting on that I'm the kindest, most loving husband or wife, out in public, and then they get you behind closed doors, and there's somebody totally different. And you would think that if they know how to act out in public, they should know how to act at home. But it's like they can't help themselves. They can't. They're narcissistic sociopaths, and they are masters of disguise. They know how to play people. They know how to make people believe them, and that goes back to the gaslighting, because he's got her so mixed up and confused that nobody believes her, and she's sitting here trying to get some help. And sometimes you got people, you think you can trust this person, especially if they have a professional position,
Mm-hmm.
and then they turn around and not keep it confidential,
Yeah.
and then it gets back to your abuser.
Mm-hmm.
They put you in more danger.
Exactly, we've had that. So
And one
and
more
then
for
some
us.
people think that they're not in a domestic violence relationship, um, because the man has not hit them. Verbal and emotional abuse is
Abuse.
right, and it's they got intimate partner violence is the term they use now, but domestic violence is like the children may be witnessing it or something like that, but or being abused. But intimate partner violence is this your abuser is someone that you've been intimate with. But the thing that you have to realize is, if they're breaking TVs and throwing chairs, and this is all intimidating things, and things to get you, they're conditioning you to be beaten. They're getting you afraid of them,
So
getting
you're
you
next.
right. You're next. You know, um, um, I told someone, your husband is gonna beat you one day, because she was telling me about how he break things in the house, and it came to pass. You know, but it's like that was like she had one child, and by the time that happened, she had three. So it's hard, um, because you're trying to warn them, you're trying to tell them, and they may not get out because the man has them fooled, has isolated them, got them tricked, or got them
Yeah.
scared, or got them. So yeah, and so just know, even threatening violence, that is verbal and emotional abuse.
Because you priming those people to become a victim, and you trying to control them and their thoughts, and letting them know that, yeah, I'll take care of that for you if you want me to.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and I have this thing on Facebook that says you can heal a broken bone, but you can't heal a broken mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so these women, they never fully recover from all of the mental and emotional abuse that has happened to them, and they're never the same, never ever the same.
And I just want to notate too, like you said, as far as the children witnessing abuse, it's become so normalized. And like we said before, as far as women not having rights, but also everybody now, but it's so normal. Well, my dad beat my mom, or my mom beat my dad. She always threw stuff at, hit him with stuff. Okay, it's whatever. That's what we're supposed to.
Mhm.
But they love each other. Please watch for that. Please watch for that. And as Lisa said, if you notate your partner dealing with that, and especially if they are not proactively currently while they're speaking to you, getting professional help, run.
Mm-hmm.
Miss
Fast.
T, yeah. Would you like to add anything?
I just want to ask Lisa. I know she had mentioned before that she was in a relationship that was what made you.
More than one.
Yeah. So what made you just finally say, "I'm out of here"?
Well, see, my mom and dad were old school. I mean, like, my dad was born in 1913 and my mom was born in 35, but it was their second marriage. But they, I think I heard them argue two, maybe three times at the most. And so it wasn't normal for me. And that's why every time I was in that position, I got out right away, because it wasn't normal.
Mhm.
And I knew this wasn't right. you know. And now at one time, one of my abusers actually had me almost convinced that my parents had raised me wrong and that they told me bad or wrong information, and something in my head just made me say, wait a minute, no, like I had good parents, but the thing is that each domestic violence relationship that I was in, it seems like I at that time I didn't know anything about anything. And the first time that I was in a domestic violence relationship, I was 16. And little did I know that this was statutory rape because the guy I was dating was 25. And he beat me, threw me across the room, stumped me, everything. And do you know his mama and his sisters and family said nothing. And I used to watch his brothers,
Do the same thing.
beat their girlfriends and drag them down the alley, doing everything to them. I didn't know that. Hey, that's your red flag. This family
And
beats
that's
their
their normal.
Yeah.
That's
right,
what's messed up. That's
and
their normal.
right, exactly.
It
And
is not.
and the thing is that I'm like, I look back on that now and I say his mom must have got beat by his dad because his mom had nothing to say when I came from upstairs, and his bedroom was the first door when you got to the top of the stairs. But I know you heard
All that.
all of that commotion up there. And I didn't think he was gonna ever stop stumping me. I started asking God, like, God, please make him stop, because I didn't think he was gonna ever stop stumping me, and I was 16. And the thing about it was is that um I had almost died having my daughter, and my daughter was still an infant at the time. And girl, I'm gonna tell you, I weighed like maybe 103 pounds soaking wet, and this man doing all this to me, you know, and it is just, and the position that he held, I'll just say it was in the community. And he had
Had that facade
he
of
had
real good.
yes,
Oh, not
yeah,
him. No.
yes, exactly.
That's terrible.
And so not only was I being, physically and verbally and emotionally abused, but really I was being sexually abused because that was statutory rape. Yep. And so that was my first experience with domestic violence. I
So
was
please,
16.
please notate all this, y'all. Uh, any of this behavior from anyone is unacceptable. Um, but on a lighter note, as we wrap this up, tell us a
I
few
knew
fun
it.
facts about yourself, Miss Lisa.
Okay. All right. Um, I'm just gonna say I love all the arts. I love music, spoken word. Um, I love my DJs and my live music. I do a lot of crafting and things like that. I just love that, and I got an addiction to buying dresses. They tell me my closet, I got a walk-in closet. They say it look like Boston Stewart. So
And you might have to sell some of those and make you some money. Or
I
something.
know, right?
What
Like,
kind of crafting do you like to do? What's one of your favorite things?
oh wow. I usually will buy something and make it into something else, or um like I have this table, and I stripped it all down and primed it, and I painted it all these beautiful colors and put the glittery paint on it and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know, seeing the colors and seeing the before and after, it's instant gratification for me. It's like to just see the end result is just beautiful, and so I just love creative things and creative people. And I like, you know when people think outside the box, and do something very, very, unusual. To that unusual thing are things I really like too, because it's like, man, that is so creative. I wouldn't have never
Unusual,
thought of that.
like her
Oh, like those
shoes.
shoes.
Miss Ma'am has on some pointy-toed sneakers. I never in my
Wait,
life.
wait. Let me turn.
And
this
with
way.
the Argyle socks, those are dope. I need them socks.
Oh, these
So-
are Adidas.
with houndstooth print on them and pointy-toed. So, so yeah. So definitely creative, definitely a fun, colorful person. And I'd like to say one other fun thing about her that she did not mention. This is the dance.
Love
Dance is
to
over
dance.
everything. And I love you for it. And I need that energy. Because like right now, yeah, I could.
Hey, come join me.
So when you guys hear about some live events and stuff, most likely y'all see Lisa down there. So
Not as much because I don't have a car. But when I had a
that's
car,
all right.
I
We
was
gonna get her-
everywhere.
Yeah. But she'll still be out there and having fun. Lisa is one of the sweetest people I know. Kind, genuine person, and will give the shirt off her back. So, but I would like to say again, thank you so much
Yeah.
for being
Thank
our
you,
first
Lisa.
guest. Yay!
I count it a privilege.
Appreciate you. And is there anything you would like to add, Miss T?
I just want to say, if you see something, if you know something, say something. Saying something could save somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I just got to say this. Doctors, hospitals, everywhere I go, they got this little list, and it's a checklist. And depending on if you say yes or no, you're at risk of being addicted to drugs. So they won't give you anything for pain. And the only two questions I say no to is violence in the home and alcohol and drugs in the home. Because I didn't have that growing up in my household. But everything else I say yes to. And so I don't care how much pain. I'm sorry, my hair is in my ear. I don't care how much pain I'm in. They will not give me any pain pills. And they said, we don't understand how you've been through all this and you're not strung out on drugs. And I tell them that's because I relied on Jehovah God. I said that's what got me through this. It was not strength out of myself. You please don't self-medicate. Please, all you do is just give yourself another problem on top of another problem. And it's so many women have just decided to just self-medicate just to numb the pain. Please don't do that. Please, you can do it. You can do it. You can make it without turning to drugs and alcohol to help you to numb the pain. Please don't do that to yourself. I just had to say that because
Yes,
it's so
ma'am.
sad.
Well, thank you for joining us at the Scarf Chronicles, where if you ain't human, if you can't relate. I thank you very much. I'm Michele with one L and Miss T over here. And again, we have the lovely Lisa Gross.
Lisa.
Thank you guys and tune in again. You'll be seeing us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.